Hi, this is Karen with Karen's Cards and More, and today I'm going to show you this cute Easter card. Thinking ahead, trying to get my Easter cards done, and this is the card that we're going to work on today. And I did, because it's a square instead of the traditional, I went ahead and got an envelope and did a little stamping on here, and the card size was dictated by the size of the envelope I had. So I had a 5.5 square envelope, so I used that to determine what size I wanted to make my card. So we're going to work on this card today, and we're going to use this to marry, if you will, two tulip stamp sets. So we're going to be using the timeless tulips and the flowering tulips. Let me say, if you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm glad you decided to stop by and join me. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. You'll be notified every time I upload a new video. Give me a thumbs up if you like what you see, so I know to think about that when I design my future cards. It helps me out here on YouTube. I am an independent demonstrator for Stampin Up, so these are all Stampin Up products that you're going to see me use today. And if you like any of the products, you can hop on over to my online store, karensmith.stampinup.net, and order anything that you see here today. One caveat that I will give you as we go through this, the designer series paper that I'm using is only while supplies last, and it won't be available when the new catalog comes out in May. It's not in the new catalog. So if you like this designer series paper, the tulip paper that you're going to see on the card today, you probably want to go ahead and order a pack or two. So let's talk about these stamps. The Timeless Tulips is an older stamp set, and Flowering Tulips is a new stamp set. Both of these will still be, let me think about that. I think both of these will still be in the new catalog. I'll have to check on the Timeless Tulips. I know that the Flowering Tulips, it's a new set, so it will be in the new catalog. From the Timeless Tulips, we're just going to use this Happy Easter, Happy Spring, Happy Everything. From the Flowering Tulips, we're going to do our tulip stamping. This has a coordinating die set that you can get to cut these out. We're going to use that die as well. And then the only other thing I want to mention is both of these sets are the polymer stamp sets, the clear, not the rubber cling. In case that matters, if you have a preference, these are both the clear. So this is the card we're going to do. Let's talk about what we're going to use to put that together. The card base that we're going to start with is it's Petal Pink. We're going to use 3 colors of ink. I'll just go ahead and bring these in while I'm talking about the card base. We're going to use Petal Pink, Blushing Bride, and Poppy Parade. Those are the 3 colors that we're going to be using in our flower stamping. So I'm going to set those aside. Our card base is 10.5 by 5.25, scored on the long side at 5.25 to make our square card. Then you need a piece of the designer series paper, and I'm using this beautiful tulips in pink. This designer series paper pack, it's all beautiful. The flip side of this I can show you is this. It's just all really gorgeous paper. And this is a 5.25 square. Then you're going to need a piece for the inside of basic white that is also 5.25 squared. No, this is 5 inches squared because our card is 5.25. So this is 5 by 5, and this is also 5 by 5. Then I cut just a little strip. Let me show you the finished card. So for the inside, I just did a piece of that along the bottom of the white. So this piece is 1/2 inch by 5 inches, and we're just going to attach that here at the bottom, and that's going to be the inside panel. And then for the outside panel, you're going to need 2 squares. So you're going to need a 4 by 4 square, and then you're going to need 3 by 7/8 by 3 7/8. Now that one doesn't have to be exact. It just needs to be smaller than the 4x4 because we don't want it to stick out behind it. So I'm using 3 7/8 by 3 7/8. So that's how we're going to do that. So let's go ahead and start with the easy stuff. Let's go ahead and put this trim at the bottom of our inside panel. So I'm just going to use a little bit of Stampin' Seal. I'm just going to run a strip down. Get that. And I always run out when I'm doing a video, so I'm just going to bring in my liquid glue. And this is just going to go along the bottom of our 5-inch basic white piece. This is just going to be a little bit of trim along the bottom, just like that. Okay, and we can go ahead and attach these. So the designer series paper we're going to put on the outside. Just adding a little bit of liquid glue. And we're just going to center this up. Just like that. I'm going to put a little more glue under this corner. And then on the inside, I'm just going to flip this, and on the inside, we're just going to glue in our basic white piece. Get a little more on this edge. And we're just going to center this up. That looks pretty good. We're going to go ahead and give this a fold. Okay, the basic part of our card is now done. So let me show you what we're going to do with these two pieces. So on our top piece, we're going to use the layering circles. And this is the next to the largest. So there's the scalloped and then there's the straight. And we're using the second largest. So it's the largest on one side, but it's a little bit smaller than the biggest circle. So we're going to be using this. And we just want to, on our larger piece of basic white, we just want to run the circle through our die machine, cutting out the middle. We just want to get the middle. Okay, and we're not going to use the circle today. The piece that we're cutting out, you can save that for another project. And then we're just going to take, and I'm going to bring in my foam mat because we're going to do some stamping. And with the polymer, it's better to have something underneath. So I'm just going to lay this underneath there. I want to kind of make sure it's straight. It really won't matter if it's perfectly straight. We can fix it no matter what, but we want to try to make it straight. I do want to mention this. This card is not a shaker card, but you'll see as we put this together, it would be very easy to put a window sheet behind this front piece and fill the inside with sequins or something and make this a shaker card. It would be a very transition that you could do with this card design if you wanted it to be a shaker card. I chose not to do a shaker card, but you could very easily use the same design, make it a shaker, or instead of stamping on the inside, you could stamp this on a strip, make it a shaker, and put the strip on top of the window sheet, either way, but very adaptable to that. So we're going to go ahead and stamp our greeting. And for this, I'm using black memento, and this is from the Timeless Tulip set. So I'm just going to ink this up. And we're just going to try to center this. I'm just going to hold it down for just a second, and there we have our greeting. So now we're ready to start working on our flowers. And I used 6, I'm going to show you how to do 2 different flowers. And I did 6 of each and then die cut them out. But let me show you how I did them. So I'm going to start with opening my I'm just going to go ahead and open all 3. So I've got my Poppy Parade, my Blushing Bride, and my Petal Pink. And you'll notice just one little thing I want to show you. I haven't done it with my Poppy Parade yet, but you have so many different strips, and some of them are in a different language, but it's still the same color. I put one on the edge, but then I always put one inside my stamp pad in this little well. So that way when I'm working with them and I have them open, I can easily look at that and know what color it is. So that just a little tip on your ink pads there. So I'm going to start, I always, for whatever reason, I always stamp with the lightest color that I'm using in that stamp set first. So we're going to be stamping this little tiny bud, and then the piece that goes with that is this other bud, and these are from the Flowering Tulips. So I want the inside to be Blushing Bride and the outside to be Poppy Parade. So we're going to start with that one. So I'm just going to ink this up and stamp that down. And then I'm going to come in with Poppy Parade. I'm going to ink that up. And I got a little ink on my block. And when you do that, you probably want to go ahead and wipe that off, because if you don't, there's a chance you'll somehow get it on your project. So I always just go ahead and wipe that off. So then I'm going to come in. I want to make sure I got this good and inked. And then I'm just going to come in and stamp that down. Just like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and clean my blocks, because the second flower is going to use the Blushing Bride as the outside and the Petal Pink as the inside. So I want to make sure these are clean. So I'm going to go with the bud first, and I'm going to stamp that down. And then I'm going to come in with the Blushing Bride. And I'm going to stamp that over top of it. Just like that. And I did 6 of each, and then I die cut them out. And let me show you that, the coordinating die set. There's a little die that is the outline for that tulip. And so that's what you're going to use, and you're going to cut out 6 of each color. And if you want to cut out a few more just to make sure that you have plenty, you can do that, but I used 6 of each. So I'm going to go ahead and close these up. I already have these done and cut out. I wanted to show you the process of doing the stamping, but I already have some done that we're going to work with for our project. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is we want to go ahead and attach our middle piece like that. So we're just going to go ahead and attach that. And I'm just using glue on this. I'm not using dimensionals and trying to pop this up, because we're going to get enough dimension with our next piece. So I'm just using liquid glue. And I'm going to just center this up just like that. Now, we're going to add this part on next, and here's why I say that it could very easily be a shaker. Because the way that I'm going to attach this is using the adhesive strips. And you could very easily use this to go around the circle and then around the edges. Make sure you attach a window sheet first, and that would create a well for your sequins, and you could make a shaker card really easy. But since I'm not doing a shaker card, I'm just going to add the strips on here. Just like that. I've got 2 of them, so I'm gonna take those apart and put one back on my sheet. Okay. And then I'm just going to use my Take Your Pick tool and get this paper started. I'm going to peel that backing off. I just love how easy this was to put together, but you know, thinking of spring, thinking of Easter, I just love how it all came together. You can create a wreath even when you don't have a wreath die. Okay, so I'm just going to center this on here. And then press that down. Another way you could do this if you didn't have the adhesive strips or you didn't want to use, you could just cut out multiple of these, as long as you use one as a template to put your die on the next piece and so on, so you get them in the exact same spot. You could cut out 5 or 6 of these, glue them all together, and then place them on here. That would give you a good base underneath here if you didn't want to use the adhesive strips. Okay, so now we're ready to attach our flowers, and here's all my flowers. And I want to start with the middle one at the top. And then I'm going to work around from there. So I'm not putting it right down to the tip because I want the tip to stick down into the open part. So I'm just going to try to get this centered. And press that down. And then I'm going to alternate the dark and the light. Just like that. And I'm trying not to go too far in because when I get around my sentiment, it's going to cover my sentiment up if I go too far in. So I'm trying to stay give myself plenty of room for that. And I'm just going back and forth. You could go all the way down on one side if you wanted. I'm just going back and forth a little bit. just slide that, and that's going to fit almost perfectly. If it overlaps a little at the bottom, I wasn't too worried because we're going to come and put a bow on that. So I wasn't real worried about if it overlapped a little, but it's fitting really pretty good. Okay, there we have our wreath done, and we're ready to go ahead and add our finishing touch, which is our bow. So we're just going to go ahead and do that. And I'm using this glittered organdy ribbon, say that 10 times fast, and it's white with some iridescent glittery flakes in it, and it will reflect off of that pink real nice. So I'm just going to tie a little bow. And I'm just going to work with it till I get it the size I want it. So I'm just going to trim the tails off. And I'm just going to attach this, and I've got all kinds of little sparkles on my card. I should have moved it out of the way before I messed with that ribbon. So I'm just going to brush this off. Okay. And then I'm ready to attach my ribbon. And to attach my ribbon, I'm just going to use a couple of glue dots. So I'm just going to bring in my glue dots, and I'm going to put these on the back of my ribbon. Okay, and then I'm just going to come in, and you can decide, you can put it off to one side, you can put it in the middle. The other one I put off to the side. This one I think I'll just put right in the middle. Just like that. And there you have a very easy, really pretty Easter card. Like I said, you could very easily turn this into a shaker card without any problems, and it would be beautiful as a shaker card. I hope you enjoy this video. I hope you'll give this a try, play with these 2 tulip sets and see what you can come up with. Be sure to check out my Facebook group and my Facebook page. Karen's Cards and More is what both of them are. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I will be back to craft with you again soon.